Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School. I'm Stevie.
I'm Betty.
Today we're looking at day 2 of our Dialogues with Themes lesson, and we're talking about facing the typhoon together. So yesterday we had Tom and Rachel, and they saw the news or heard the news that a typhoon was coming in, was approaching, and they said, ooh, we better get ready.
没错。
So is our emergency kit ready? Do we have food? Do we have water? Do we have batteries, a flashlight, things like that? And they were preparing to face the typhoon.
没错，昨天就讲到说台风要来了嘛，在来的前夕他们两个就在聊说，要干嘛，要准备什么？那我们学到 emergency kit 那种紧急避难包 disaster kit 要准备好啊，对不对？那我们今天来看一下他们怎么了呢？在台风过了之后。
All right, let's take a look.
Facing the typhoon together. Dialogue B. Tom and Rachel are following the typhoon on the news and discussing what to do once it passes.
Wow, Rachel, the wind's really roaring out there.
No kidding. I'm glad we decided to stay home.
Did you see the latest news on the typhoon?
I did. It's moving slower than expected, so we might be in for a tough night.
Well, at least we're safe here. I just hope everyone else is okay.
Same here. The news said a lot of debris is getting blown into rivers and parks.
It's sad to think about the mess this typhoon will leave behind.
It is, but it's also a chance to take action. Once the typhoon clears, we could set up a community cleanup.
That's a great idea. We could start with the park near our house.
You're right. We could reach out to local businesses for support and maybe even ask them to donate some supplies.
Perfect. I'll start writing a post on social media. We can share safety tips for the typhoon and let people know about the cleanup plans.
Sounds good. The typhoon might have messed up the whole city, but we'll get through this together.
Okay, so in today's dialogue, Tom and Rachel are following the typhoon on the news and discussing what to do once it passes. Now, so when we say they're following the typhoon on the news, so are they following? Kind of, yes. That means you are following this story. You're watching the news and seeing what happens and checking for updates.
对，这边的 follow 当然不是说具体啦，你跟踪他啊什么的不是哦，但是呢有点类似，就是呢你要知道它的后续发展哦，就是我们说啊我 follow 这个消息，我们中文也会这样讲嘛，对不对？那这个背景就是说 Tom 跟 Rachel 呢，他们现在在看那个台风后续的这个新闻，然后他们就在讨论说呢 ，once it passes， 就是说一旦呢这个台风过了叫 pass， 用这个动词哦，他们要怎么办？要做什么呢？
I'm glad you mentioned the grammar part for once it passes, because we could once it passes means after this has already happened, right?
对。
Once it happens, once it passes. You could also say they're talking about what to do when it passes, and you could even use after it passes.
因为它有这个指向性，那个 passes 就是有那种经过的意思，所以你用 when 啊 after 用 once 其实意思都是一样的
Yeah.
都可以理解。
Yeah. So now Tom says, wow, Rachel, the wind's really roaring out there. So when we say that, the wind's really roaring out there, a roar is a sound that we use for a tiger or a lion or a dinosaur or a monster, you know, roar.
对，这个就是 roar。
And so when we say the wind is roaring, I think many people have heard when the wind outside is going so strong that you just hear this constant,
没错，
you know, and so we call that the wind is roaring. You can hear things flying off and you can hear things moving, maybe things breaking, and you're going, oh no,
对，这个其实中文也很像，因为我们中文会是翻成咆哮，咆哮就是人在那边乱吼乱叫的时候叫咆哮，然后英文是野兽嘛，对不对？那么
Yeah.
叫声，那跟中文很像，就是呢都用人或动物的声音，然后去形容这个风的声音。对，他就说哇 ，Rachel， 你知道吗？这个外面那个风啊，简直就是在咆哮，很大声这样。
Yeah, it's really roaring out there, which also means it's very strong, right?
对
Very strong, heavy wind. So it's roaring out there. And Rachel says, oh, no kidding. No kidding. You use this the same way in Chinese.
这个中文你会怎么翻？
Well, I would say, oh, 没错. You know, no kidding.
这是没有在开玩笑。对呀、就是这样。
如果直接翻译其实也是可以，这真的不是开玩笑。
对，这真的不是开玩笑的、哦。
But what it means is I agree with you.
对，你说的对啊，真的就是这样。
Yeah. I'm glad we decided to stay home. I'm glad we didn't go out.
对，他现在呢就很开心，就是说还好我们当时哦，所以那个时态有点不一样哦。当时呢在家里没有出门啦，安全。
Yeah. And so I think Tom, he's looking for something to talk about because he says, did you see the latest news on the typhoon? They live together, right? They're in the same place.
他们还要问他，他们就在看同一台，然后他们还在问他。
Maybe he's watching the wind or he's looking outside. And so he said, hey, did you see the latest news? What is the latest news? Maybe that's what he means.
对，那他们呢就很关心这个台风的动向，他就说：“哎，你有没有看就是最新就是新闻上的对台风动态的这个报道啊？什么任何跟台风相关的消息啊？那这个的话，它就是 latest news 哦，最新的哦 latest。”
Yeah, did you see the latest news on the typhoon? And now Rachel says, I did.
有啊，当然有
Yeah,
啊。
it's moving slower than expected. So we might be in for a tough night. Okay. Typhoons, if they're really big and they slow down, they just stay above you
对，这
for a
很可
longer
怕。
time, right? And so it's moving slower than expected, slower than the scientists thought it would.
对，就比气象报道的呢还要移动的缓慢。所以
Yeah.
他就说他现在移动的呢比气象报道的还要慢哦，所以它可能会造成更大一点的伤害。
So we might be in for a tough night. Now, first of all, be in for something. We usually use this to say something you might have to experience something you might not like.
哦，所以负面的否定
Usually, yeah.
就即将面临什么样的状
Yeah.
况？
Again, this is something like our mothers would use if we're gonna
要
be
被揍了。
punished. You know? In fact, sometimes we use it by itself. You're gonna be in for it if you don't listen to me.
哦，你知道，你就
In
会
for it.
尝到苦的。这个 it 呢不明讲，反正就是那个东西。
Yeah.
be in for it，就你就惨了哈，你再坏一点。
Yeah. So be in for it usually means you're going to experience something you won't like. But be in for a tough night. Now, if we use tough to describe a person, like they're tough.
哦，就是比较那种硬汉形象的那一种。
Yeah, you know, or he's maybe a boxer.
哦，
He keeps getting hit again and again, and he still stands up. You say, wow, he's tough.
我们讲人家很坚强，尤其是那种比如体力上啊，或者是身体上，就是我们那种硬汉形象那一种，我们就会说 tough。
But when we say, oh, you're in for a tough night, or you'll be in for a tough time, okay, a tough time period, that means it might not be good.
很
It might
艰
not
难。
be happy.
对，就感觉我们今晚啊，哎，感觉会过得蛮辛苦的，蛮痛苦的哦。
Yeah, maybe. That's probably a good way. 今晚可能会过得比较辛苦，比较累。
对，或者是风一直呼啸，
比较
你很担
可怕
心，你会很担心啊。
Yeah, you're gonna worry
担
tonight.
心明天没有放假，没有啦。
But she says we might be in for a tough night. Now, Tom says, well, at least we're safe here.
哦，至少在这里是安全的。
Yeah, at least we're safe here. And I just hope everyone else is okay. I hope everyone out there is okay.
对，因为有时候你们家就是没有问题，可是你看新闻有时候那个大水泛滥啊，就会觉得哦，你光想到他那个家具都浮起来，然后他之后还要清扫，就觉得哦，那真的是很辛苦这样子。对，然后他就说啊，我希望其他人呢也是没有问题的、安全的。
You know, we always say in English, and this comes from like Christians, you know, the
基督
Bible,
教的这个
like 那种圣经的, but they say the golden rule is to treat people how you want to be treated. And I think that also is with feeling for other people. You know, I remember, now I'm going to be Grandpa Joe. Old Stevie's talking. When I was young, when I was in my like 20s,
20几岁，他年轻的时候，
I remember typhoon days. And what did we do on typhoon days? We were like, yes, no work. Yes, we're going to the KTV.
对，
Yes, we're going to go have fun and we don't have work today. Woohoo! That was our idea for typhoon days. But then later I see, but while I was singing at the KTV, a village down in
没
Tainan
错，
got totally flooded by a mudslide and people lost their homes and everything else. And I was thinking,
好像不太对哈。
So I started understanding that warning is there for a reason.
对，
And then my own house flooded.
哦，自己的家里也淹水。
My house flooded I had a basement house and it wasn't one of those old, ugly, dirty basements.
很漂亮的地下室的那一种。
I remodeled it. 我重新装修，重新用。It was
淹水。
beautiful. And downstairs, it was our party room. So my stereo, my TV, my Xbox,
贵的东西都在那里。
all my things for having fun with my friends was down in the basement. Big, expensive, nice sofa, all downstairs. And there was a typhoon. They called it Typhoon Day. We went singing KTV at night, came home, went to bed. I woke up at 6 a.m. Because I heard water.
啊，进
And I was
来了
like-
你才发现，
What is that? And I woke up and I went looking around and I heard water downstairs. I opened up the door, turned on the light, and there was already this much water downstairs.
来不及了，对不对？
And then, 不到1个小时, in less than 1 hour, my house flooded up to half of the first floor. 一楼在差不多一半, up to almost my waist. 快到我的腰.
很夸张哎。
Yeah.
那你那个东西全部都报废了。
Everything we lost.
对。我还
And so now I realize typhoon days, you know,
don't go to KTV.
maybe really hope the best for everyone out there.
真的，
Really. That's 重点是这个. I know you can still do what you're going to do, but be safe. Think about it, be safe, and really do hope the best for everyone out there.
对，就希望没有人受伤，或者是没有人在这里受到太多的财产上啊、生命上的损害，这当然是最好，这真的是这样。我有个朋友，就是他们家开工厂，然后就是台风，那个机器呢都淹水，所以就变很有钱变负债，这也是非常悲伤的故事哦。所以
Yeah. So 刚讲那么多，就是因为这一句。
对
Well, at least we're safe here. I just hope everyone else is okay.
对，同理心啊，
Yeah. So I just want to say, I hope everyone is okay
Stay safe.
during a typhoon or earthquake or anything. Okay. Now Rachel says, same here. Me too.
对我也是这么想的。
Yeah. The news said a lot of debris is getting blown into rivers and parks. Debris is basically little bits of garbage.
就是个残骸啊、垃圾啊、断掉的塑胶啊那种
Yeah,
东
and
西
it comes from French. That's why we don't say debris.
啊，因为法文，所以那个 s 不发音。
So it's debris, and it just means garbage.
对，就很多那种残骸，就新闻就说很多那种残骸啊，就是被吹到河里面去哦，然后还有那个公园啊，你都可以看到断掉的东西啊，比如树枝、树叶那种也算。
Yeah. And then Tom says, it's sad to think about the mess the typhoon will leave behind. It's sad to think about the mess that all the debris, all the garbage that the typhoon will leave behind it when it goes.
对，这个 mess 也是一个很重要的词，就一团糟。有时候你可以用来形容啊，我人生最近一团糟，你房间一团糟。那现在在讲台风造成的这一团糟的现象，他就说呢，很难过。这个 it 当然就是虚主词讲后面那件事情，这样子会比较好讲哈。先讲很难过这个心情哦，所以什么很难过呢？想到就是说台风会留下来的那一些乱的那种，比如说垃圾也好啦，然后家园的残破也好啦，就是你想到就觉得很难过。
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the rest of our dialogue. Okay, looking at the next part of our dialogue. So Rachel was saying, oh, the news said a lot of debris and garbage is getting blown into rivers and parks and probably on the road and everything. And Tom says, it's sad to think about the big mess that the typhoon will leave. And so, remember, Tom just said, it's sad to think about this. So now Rachel says, it is. Yes, it is sad. But it's also a chance to take action. It's also a chance, we could say an opportunity to do something.
对，所以也是呢，虽然很难过，可是呢，你往好的地方想，积极面想，这个也是我们就是好好表现啊，好好行动，对这个社区有贡献的时候啦。
Once the typhoon clears, we could set up a community cleanup. So again, this once.
对
We could say when, after.
对
Okay, when the typhoon clears, we could set up. And here, set up, you could also say we could organize.
组织也可以
Yeah,
organize
Organize. We could organize a community cleanup.
对，他就说呢，一旦呢这个台风 clears 就是离开了，我们呢就可以组织一个社区的清洁队哦。这个 clean up 记得它现在呢是一个复合名词，所以重音在第一个音节哦，你不能念 clean up，clean up 它在第一个音节而已哦。
Honestly, we could all do this. We could all do things like this.
对，
Yeah, all the time.
但是很难啦，很难。
But if people see you doing it, they might help. They might start.
确实，就是有一种，你做一个好的榜样，然后大家就效法你啊，就是清扫社区啊。
I did this in one of my neighborhoods I lived in because I lived near a breakfast shop and people always threw garbage on the ground near my door. And I would go out there and with a big garbage bag and clean up that whole area because I didn't want rats.
没错。
And other neighbors said, oh, why are you cleaning this up? And I said, because it's disgusting and I like to live in a clean neighborhood. And they thought, oh.
It never came up to them?
我们在台湾的外国人都会这样子，那我们是不是应该也要？
对，输人不输阵嘛，对不对？
And so really after that, the neighbors, we all started cleaning up and everybody started picking up the neighborhood. 那个不是故意的，I wasn't trying to organize a
有一
cleanup.
半是故意的，没有啦。
I just didn't want garbage at my door.
但是大家看到 Stevie 这样捡附近的垃圾之后，大家就开始捡了，所以就是一个好的循环。
Yeah. So we could all do community cleanup for everything. After a typhoon, in your neighborhood.
对，或者只是平常
In
很
your
脏而已。
park. Yeah. So she says we could set up a community cleanup. And Tom says, that's a great idea.
这是非常好的一个想法哎。
We could start with the park near our house. So do you have a park near your house? Yeah, start there.
对，因为呢，就你可能会在那边活动嘛，他就说，那我们可以 ，we could 当然是一个提议哦，那不然我们从这家里附近的公园先开始清扫好了。
And Rachel says, you're right.
没错。
Yeah, it's a great idea. You're right. We could reach out to local businesses for support and maybe even ask them to donate some supplies. So you notice they're not asking for money.
没错。
They're just saying maybe we can reach out to local businesses for support and maybe even ask them to give us some supplies or buy some supplies for us.
因为钱大家可能比较不愿意，就不知道那个钱怎么花。
But maybe people from that company are saying, yeah, we can go and help together. And then the company says, okay, well, people here, I'll buy water for you.
对，
And
补给啊
I'll buy gloves for people and maybe garbage bags. And, they will donate some supplies because then they know you're not just taking money.
对，这样会比较单纯一点，就比较不会那么复杂，或者是有负面的观感。他就说，那我们也可以呢 reach out to， 这个 reach 呢是抵达的意思，但这里reach 有一种用手伸出去的感觉，所以 reach out to 不是真的手伸出去，他是说呢，你可以去跟当地的企业联络，就跟他们好像就手伸出去，跟他们接在一起的感觉哦，请他们帮忙啊。然后或许呢，我们甚至可以问他们说，可不可以捐一点点 donate 啊？捐一点点就是 supply 这里记得要用复数，他讲这种生活用品啊、必需品的时候呢，用复数，有时候水啊、手套啊那些东西。
Yeah, things you need to clean up the area.
对，
Yeah. Now Tom says, perfect.
太棒了。
Great. Yeah. I'll start writing a post on social media because now that's what you do.
对，没错啊，就是说，那我现在开始写一个贴文。我们昨天有看到 post 嘛，在讲说发布警报，那这个 post 当然就是一个贴文名词。那我就开始在社群媒体发文喽。
We can share safety tips for the typhoon and let people know about the cleanup plans.
对，他就说我们可以就分享，就说有没有什么安全的一些秘诀啊？当你在面对台风的时候，然后也跟大家就说，我们要组织这个社区的这个清洁队，你要不要加入啊？
Yeah. And Rachel says, oh, sounds good.
听起来很不错哦。
The typhoon might have messed up the whole city. This means it might. It could have. It's possible.
不知道，但很可能。
有可能性, right? The typhoon might have messed up the whole city, but we'll get through this together. So not just together, us two, but together with other people too.
对，他就说大家会一起哦。这个 get through 就是度过什么样的难关哦，通常是讲负面的东西。他就说呢，这个台风或许 might have 加 VPP， 就讲对过去的推测，不确定，就说可能。那这个 mess 我们这边用动词 messed up， 就是把什么搞得一团乱哦。他可能把整个城市呢都搞得一团乱，但是呢，我们呢可以同心协力一起度过这个难关。
And this we hear a lot too. You see this on movies a lot. The family, the tornado came and
对，
ripped down their house.
没错。
And they're all going, what are we going to do? And, the dad and the mom, it's okay. We'll get through this together.
对，很像 slogan 的东西，很励志这样子哦，惯用的。
And it's true.
没错。
It might be hard.
对，
It might be tough. But we'll get through it together.
好，我们一起加油。
Yeah. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time.
拜拜。